Begins with a father and daughter scene spending time together. The girl seems a bit troubled, which the father notices. He asks, "What's the matter? Dear, you seem worried. I've even told your mom that something seems to be bothering. If there's anything, you can tell us." The daughter doesn't say much, only replying, "I'm just worried about my past experiences, but I hope I'll gradually get better." The father reassures her, "All right, dear. Go to the car. I'll grab a pizza for you to cheer you up." The girl goes to the car, but as she arrives, the lights around her start flickering and then suddenly go out completely. The girl becomes frightened. Since her father hasn't returned for quite some time, she decides to go and look for him herself. She heads to the hotel from where he went to get the pizza. The hotel is completely deserted. As she ventures further to find her dad, she sees him lying on the ground. His condition is terrible, and he appears injured and unable to move, almost as if he's paralyzed. Seeing her father like this, the girl panics. Before she can comprehend what's happening, Bagman appears. He grabs her and starts stuffing her into his bag. As soon as he zips the bag shut, the girl dies. For years pass after this incident, and we are introduced to another family. The family consists of Patrick, his wife Karina, and their young son. This family seems to be living a happy life. One day, Patrick's brother and Karina's sister come over to visit, as they often do. Patrick and his brother run a woodworking business. Patrick shares with his brother, "I've developed a new machine that can cut wood much faster and more efficiently. This machine will save us a lot of effort and money." After seeing the machine in action, his brother agrees, saying, "Yes, brother, this project of yours will be well received by everyone." Meanwhile, Karina is seen chatting with her sister. After spending the evening together, the guests leave as night falls. Patrick goes outside to throw out the trash when the house lights start flickering again. He hears noises coming from the direction of the forest. Thinking that someone might be in the woods, he goes to check but finds no one, which unsettles him. The next morning, Patrick goes to his company, where his brother is also present. The two are seen managing the workers. This company was established by their father, and now the two brothers own it since their father has passed away. Patrick's brother says, "Ever since Dad passed away, I've been having terrible nightmares, but I've somehow managed to cope." Patrick is seen carving an owl out of wood with a knife. He has made several wooden animals, skills he learned from his father. While his brother leaves, Patrick begins reminiscing about his childhood. He recalls an incident where, as a child, he and his brother went near a cave. At one time, mining work was conducted in that cave, but it had been abandoned for some time, and no one visited it anymore. While standing near the cave, young Patrick saw a man emerge holding scissors. The man quickly snipped a lock of Patrick's hair, causing Patrick to fall to the ground in fear. Before Patrick could react, the man disappeared back into the cave. Patrick and his brother ran away from the spot. In the present, Karina is seen playing with her son at home. When she starts working on her laptop, her attention drifts away from her son, who ends up wandering into the forest while following a doll. After some time, Karina realizes her son is missing and searches for him everywhere. Panicking, she eventually goes into the forest, where she finally finds him. Relieved, she picks him up and brings him back home, realizing her mistake and leaving him unattended. When Patrick returns home that evening, Karina tells him what happened. As they're discussing this, the lights start flickering again, just as they had before. Seeing this, Patrick grows concerned and wonders why this keeps happening. He brushes it off and goes to work on his laptop. While carving an owl, Patrick receives an email informing him that a major company has declined to provide him a loan. Frustrated, he smashes the knife on the table, breaking it, and throws it in the trash. Later, Patrick hears noises coming from his son's room, as if he's talking to someone. He goes to check and asks his son, "Who are you talking to?" The boy replies, "I was talking to a doll. It was right here." But Patrick sees no doll. He dismisses it and puts his son to bed. However, as Patrick is leaving the room, the lights start flickering again. This recurring phenomenon disturbs Patrick. He looks out of the window toward the forest and senses someone there. Grabbing a baseball bat, he steps outside and calls out, "Whoever you are, stop messing around and come out now, or I'll find you myself." He waits, but no one comes out. At this point, Karina also comes outside with their son. Patrick tells her, "Take the boy inside quickly. Someone's spying on us." They manage to get through the night, but the next morning, they call the police. The police thoroughly investigate the house, the forest, and the surroundings, but find nothing unusual. However, on the roof, they find pieces of wood. Patrick, seeing this, remarks, "How did these get here? I threw them in the trash." The police take the wood as evidence and advise Patrick to stay vigilant, giving him their number in case of any further issues. Patrick resumes his work, but is puzzled when he finds the owl he had made as a child. He wonders, how did this end up here? He asks Karina if she brought it, but she denies it, saying, "This is the first time I've seen it." Confused, Patrick can't figure out how his childhood toy has resurfaced. Karina then complains that their son's constant flute playing is distracting her work. She hands Patrick the flute, asking him to hide it. Patrick places the flute on a box and then starts playing with his son. Later, when his son is taking a bath, he insists on getting the flute back. Patrick goes to the storage room to retrieve it as the box had been moved there. Meanwhile, Bagman enters the bathroom through the window to target the boy. However, Patrick senses that something is wrong and rushes back to his son. Karina also hears their son's voice and joins them. Thankfully, the boy is unharmed, but tells them he saw a doll in the bathroom. Patrick becomes increasingly worried. He checks the trash, thinking the flute might have accidentally been thrown away, but it's not there either. Frustrated, he goes to bed, but his phone alerts him to an issue with the house alarm. He checks the alarm system, which seems fine, but notices that someone has opened the shed door. When he goes to close it, he finds a doll wearing a cap that he used to wear as a child. Recognizing it, Patrick becomes even more frightened. As he tries to return inside, he finds all the windows and doors of the house locked. Looking through the window, he sees Bagman inside. Panicked, Patrick breaks a window to get inside and quickly ensures the safety of his wife and son. Though he checks the house thoroughly, Bagman is nowhere to be found. However, Patrick remains terrified because the situation is becoming increasingly unexplainable. The next day, Patrick calls the police. The officer suggests installing CCTV cameras outside his house and asks if anything is missing from his home. Patrick replies, "Yes, my son's flute, which he used to play often." The officer reassures him, saying, "Don't worry, we'll patrol around your house from now on." However, Patrick remains worried. He can't figure out what is happening and why his problems keep escalating. He discusses this with his brother and tells him, "The owl I made in my childhood has now come back to me, and the cap I used to wear has also been placed back, but I don't know who did this." That night, while Patrick was sleeping, he began having nightmares. He dreamt of the bagman taking his son away. This reminded him of a childhood memory when his father had taken him near a cave. His father had told him, "People say there's a bagman who lives inside this cave, but no one has ever seen him. He kidnaps children." Since Patrick was young at the time, he thought his father was scaring him to make him study and behave well. But his father had said, "I'm not scaring you, son. I'm telling you the truth. The bagman kidnaps children who are good and follow rules. Why would I want you to be scared? I only wanted to say that you're a good child, so stay cautious." After waking up from his nightmare, Patrick calls a psychiatrist to his house. She examines Patrick and explains Patrick is suffering from sleep deprivation. He isn't getting enough rest, which is why he sees strange things, some of which are not real. For instance, as part of my research, I found that Patrick used to see a strange man as a child. He even drew pictures of him, but no one else ever saw that man. It was all in Patrick's imagination. She advises him to get proper sleep and suggests, if you're still feeling scared, consider moving houses temporarily. Patrick and Karina like the idea and decide to stay in a hotel for a few days. They send their son to stay with Karina's sister, thinking a change of environment will cheer him up. Patrick and Karina move to the hotel and start talking. Karina asks, "What happened to you in your childhood?" Patrick recounts, "I was really scared of the bagman story my father told me. Later, my father gave me a knife and said, the bagman might be around you, so always keep this knife with you. If you lose it, the bagman won't spare you. But look at me now. I've lost that knife." Meanwhile, at Karina's sister's house, she was on a phone call while their son was sleeping peacefully. Suddenly, the lights began flickering. Alarmed, she went to check on the child, who was fine. But then, the doorbell rang. When she opened the door, the bagman was there. Terrified, she quickly grabbed the child and hid in a closet with a knife for protection. However, the bagman had already seen her and was coming after them. When he tried to grab her, she attacked him with the knife and, fortunately, managed to save herself and the child. A rescue team, along with Patrick and Karina, arrived soon after. Karina's sister suffered minor injuries, which were treated on the spot. Patrick decided to take his family to his brother's house. Despite being shaken, Karina's sister was comforted by Karina, who told her, "Don't be scared. I'm here with you." She explained, "That man was strange and terrifying. When he grabbed my face, I was paralyzed, but thank God I had the knife to protect us." Patrick, determined to protect his family, stayed awake all night with a baseball bat in his hand, keeping watch. He now understood that the bagman was after his son. Karina, however, reassured him, "There's no need to worry. We're at your brother's house. He's here. The police are outside, so you can sleep peacefully." Reluctantly, Patrick laid down and fell asleep. Moments later, Patrick checked the tablet and saw that the bagman was already near his son. Panicked, Patrick rushed to his son's room, but by then, the bagman had taken him. When Patrick went to his brother's room, he was horrified to find his brother and sister-in-law dead. Outside, the scene was even more gruesome. The police officers had also been killed, clearly by the bagman. Patrick decided he wouldn't let the bagman get away. He believed the bagman had his son in his bag and started chasing him. The chase led Patrick to the same cave he had visited as a child. The cave was dark, and Patrick had no weapon. Inside, he heard his son's voice, "Dad, please save me." Desperate, Patrick ventured deeper into the cave. He saw many candles and nests scattered around, each filled with the favorite belongings of the children the bagman had kidnapped. Patrick opened a bag and found the doll that his son used to talk about. Hearing his son's voice coming from the doll, Patrick realized he had been tricked. Furious, he destroyed the doll. Meanwhile, Karina and her sister found their son outside the cave, unharmed. They called the police, who arrived promptly. Inside the cave, Patrick shouted, "Whoever you are, show yourself." At that moment, the bagman appeared. He grabbed Patrick from behind, covering his mouth, paralyzing him. The bagman, ghostly and terrifying, had brought his back. Patrick noticed his childhood knife lying in one of the nests. Summoning all his strength, he picked up the knife and stabbed the bagman in the neck. Patrick found the flute his son used to play and threw it outside the cave. He tried to escape, but the bagman wouldn't let him go. He grabbed Patrick by the mouth and began stuffing him into the bag. Patrick's bones shattered, and he died a painful death. By the time Karina and the police entered the cave, all they found was the flute. They realized Patrick was gone. The story reveals that when Patrick was a child, his father had warned him that the bagman only targeted beautiful and obedient children. Once the bagman marked a child, he would cut their hair and keep watching them, no matter how old they grew. Patrick was marked as a child, and the bagman never stopped following him. In the end, the bagman took Patrick with him forever, concluding this tragic story.